Hello and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News on this first day of December. I'm Grant Olson. Here's some of the stories we have coming up for you tonight. Sheriff's deputies in Douglas County say 3 men, one of whom was armed with a handgun, forced their way into an East Wenatchee home early Saturday in a domestic violence incident. Also from East Wenatchee tonight, police say they were able to detain a juvenile gang member carrying a handgun last week near Eastmont Community Park. Expect cloudy skies and slightly warmer temperatures over the next few days. Your full local weather forecast is coming up. Students and teachers in the Moses Lake School District did not return to class today after the district and teachers union failed to reach a contract agreement last week. The union and district have been in contract negotiations since June, and the union voted mid-November to approve a strike if an agreement was not reached by the November 28th deadline. The teachers union is asking for the restoration of lost elementary programming and a reduced schedule this school year, rolling back changes that were made last year during the district's $20 million budget crisis after a double levy failure. The union informed the district teachers will remain on strike until a contract agreement is reached. Sheriff's deputies in Douglas County say 3 men, one of whom was armed with a handgun, forced their way into an East Wenatchee home early Saturday in a domestic violence incident. During the altercation, one of the intruders allegedly pushed a 90-year-old woman to the ground. Her injuries were not life-threatening, but witnesses said one of the 3 men pointed a handgun at one of the victims. Police detained one man, identified as Christian Ibarra, who allegedly admitted to police that he and 2 friends entered the home in the 2600 block of 11th Street Southeast to confront a man who was visiting his former girlfriend. Adame is now held in the Chelan County Jail. He faces a possible charge of burglary, among other offenses, in Douglas County Superior Court. The 2 other suspects are still being sought by police. Police say a Wenatchee motorist sped away from a traffic stop early Sunday and crashed his vehicle into an embankment, injuring a passenger. 32-year-old Nicholas James Riggs allegedly passed a police officer about 12:30 a.m. in a white Honda Accord near 9th and Mission Street, traveling at high speed and ignoring a stoplight. A pursuit followed, reaching speeds estimated at 70 miles an hour before the Honda crashed in the 500 block of South Chelan Avenue. Riggs surrendered to police at the scene. His passenger, a 40-year-old woman, suffered a head wound in the crash that required stitches. Riggs faces likely charges including reckless driving, eluding police, and vehicular assault for the injuries to his passenger. Scam artists continue to use public records in their attempts to defraud customer and residents of Chelan County. The county's Public Works Office says recently people who applied for event permits that might affect county road traffic were emailed phony invoices for nearly $5,000. The emails included information about the applicants that had been gleaned from county records and used the Public Works logo in order to seem authentic. In fact, the department never sends email invoices, and all permit application fees are paid up front. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office says scammers have also made fraudulent phone calls to the public in recent weeks, trying to lure people into turning over large sums of money to avoid a phony arrest warrant. Both agencies warn residents to report such scam attempts and not give the fraudsters any personal information. When we come back, East Wenatchee police say they were able to detain a juvenile gang member carrying a handgun last week near Eastmont Community Park. The local coordinated entry program was recognized last month with the State County Projects of Impact Award for making a difference in the community. And the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society had a line out the door on Black Friday for its annual Clear the Shelter weekend. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCWLIFE, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Call Alpine Air Heating and Cooling today. Your comfort is their priority. Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
Central Washington Water understands the power of healing waters. If part of your wellness routine includes hot heat from a sauna, Central Washington Water now carries indoor and outdoor infrared and hot rock saunas by Tilo. Research shows there are many health benefits to a cold plunge after a good workout or relaxing time in your sauna. Harness the power of water in a hot spring spa, plug-and-play spas, a Tilo sauna, or a cold plunge tub. Stop by Central Washington Water, your wellness experts.
East Wenatchee police say they were able to detain a juvenile gang member carrying a handgun last week near Eastmont Community Park. City police and Douglas County Sheriff's deputies responded about 7 p.m. last Tuesday to the 200 block of North Georgia Avenue, where a witness reported seeing a group gang members gathering, including one armed with a pistol. One juvenile was detained, but another allegedly ran from police, throwing a handgun with an extended magazine over a fence to dispose of it. The firearm was recovered, and the 16-year-old suspect from Quincy was booked on charges of unlawful firearm possession, criminal mischief, and obstructing police. He faces arraignment in juvenile court 2 weeks from now. The local coordinated entry program was recognized last month with the State County Projects of Impact Award for making a difference in the community. Coordinated entry is an access point for people who are experiencing homelessness or are at imminent risk of homelessness. The program has undergone several changes in the last 3 years, including moving its first physical location at Columbia Station in downtown Wenatchee. Up until last year, the program was contracted out by Chelan and Douglas counties to various nonprofits. Around 40 projects were nominated for the Projects of Impact Award given by the Washington State Association of Counties. The Chelan County Veterans Services Office remodel project was selected as an honorable mention. The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society had a line out the door on Black Friday for its annual Clear the Shelter weekend. By the end of Friday, every adoptable cat on hand had been claimed, along with many more pets. Clear the Shelter sets aside all adoption fees, and it helps make room for new rescues to be cared for until they find their forever homes. There are still about 16 dogs available for adoption, and many other pets are being fostered in private households. You can visit the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society each Thursday through Tuesday and take a sneak peek at their animal guests on their website at wenatcheehumane.org. Coming up next in tonight's feature story, Jefferson Robbins sat down with the new executive director of the Chelan Douglas Land Trust, Hannah Beener, a longtime employee of the nonprofit. Possible light snow in the Cascades tonight with a better chance in eastern Washington. I'll have your local weather details coming up, followed by Eric Granstrom with a look at all the day's sports action as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues after these messages.
Order ready for soup. is in? During the holiday rush, those might be the best words you can hear all week. At Abby's, you get a night off from cooking, a place to gather with family, and easy holiday catering that everybody loves. For legendary pizza and hospitality, visit Abby's.com. Aloha and Melikaliki Maka from Abby's. End your year with a tropical twist. Our big Hawaiian pizza at a legendary holiday price. Plus, earn $5, $10, $20 or more in free pizza with our holiday gift card offer. Abby's, a legendary holiday pizza tradition.
When flooding hit Serve Wenatchee, their office in Fresh Hope Market were devastated. But their mission to help prevent homelessness in this valley hasn't stopped, and neither will we. I'm Todd McLaughlin, General Manager at Apple Valley Honda. Now through the end of the year, we're donating $25 to Serve Wenatchee every time someone takes a test drive. And if you happen to buy a vehicle, we'll give an additional $100 in your name. Because when our neighbors are in need, this community steps up, and we're proud to be part of that.
Observers of the Chelan-Douglas Land Trust were happy to see it pass into familiar hands last summer. Hannah Beener was named Executive Director of the nonprofit agency in August. She holds a long track record as an employee of the Land Trust, who's also worked in other stewardship organizations along the way. In tonight's features story, December marks her 6-month anniversary in the top job, and she spoke with NCWLIFE's Jefferson Robbins about the experience.
So I worked for the Chelan-Douglas Land Trust for about 10 years, from 2013 to 2023, moving from a very entry-level post-hole digger in 2013 to kind of a senior manager, department head of our public access program in 2023. And then I stepped away to work for another local nonprofit, TREAD, to do some research that actually benefited the Land Trust about sustainable funding and management of outdoor rec resources in the region. And prior to the Land Trust, I had been with the Forest Service doing wildland firefighting.
When you first got into your professional life, when you became an adult and were looking around for things to do, was outdoors and working on the land just a natural call for you?
Yeah, I grew up in Ferry County in the rural northeastern part of the state, and it's being on the land and identifying strongly a sense of physical place in the world was something that I grew up with, and I know a lot of the people that were in my cohort as well did. And so it felt natural to want to be a part of taking care of a place. And I learned that I had pursued some different avenues of study, more related to international studies. Did some time working in an embassy on an internship in college, and came away with, whoa, that's actually not what I want to do. I'm glad I did an internship to find out, and came back and really leaned heavily into wilderness and parks and protected areas management.
When you think about the Land Trust, do you see it as a stewardship agency or as an education agency? I mean, you seem to have fingers in a lot of different sectors.
Right. Yeah, I primarily see the Land Trust as being a land manager. So we are in the same vein as a Parks Department or the Department of Fish and Wildlife or state parks, in the sense that we actually hold land and manage it in perpetuity. So much more in the vein of stewardship. That being said, because we are a nonprofit, we can remain nimble and very responsive and sensitive to the needs of the community. And so that brings in a lot more texture to how we do business. And one part of that is really inviting the public to join us in helping care for these lands, because that's what really makes our work sustainable for the long term. Is if people are engaged in caring for the land, then they will continue to care for that for future generations. So it's a mix, but we certainly, our identity is very much wrapped up in stewarding the lands that are in our portfolio.
Well, the Land Trust turned 40 this year, 40 years old. Are there ways that you want to see it kind of adapt and grow for the next 40 years while you're director?
Yeah, I think what comes to mind for me is the Land Trust is just a very steadfast entity. We take ownership or management of land, we conserve it for a variety of public benefits and conservation values, and we steward it forever. And so I think it's less about doing a lot of new things, but adapting to where our community is at in order to keep doing what we do really well. And so I think that stewardship in perpetuity is something that both the board president and myself spoke about at our annual dinner recently, and I think it's where we're in step, that this is our role, we do it really well, and we're going to keep doing it and giving the assurance to our community that we're going to be there for the long term.
Land Trust seems to have some advantages in that a lot of its people who are very enthusiastic about the outdoors and about stewardship of the outdoors, who may have come through the agency are still around. You worked for Bob Boogert when he was executive director. Bob's still very much a presence. Do you see yourself turning to those voices of people who've been through the agency but are now on the outside? Do you see yourself looking to people like them for advice?
Absolutely. I'm so fortunate to be able to count Bob as a good friend and a mentor, and also Kurt Soper, who was another ED that I worked for. And then I've gotten to know Gordon Congdon, who was actually the first ED of the Land Trust. And to be able to spend some time, I interviewed all of them when I came on for our 40th anniversary, and to learn from them how the community perception of the Land Trust has changed over the years, from people not really understanding what it did, to people being unsure if it was the right entity to be doing the work that it was doing, to being widely known and accepted as a critical piece in the fabric of our community. So I really stand on the shoulders of a lot of good work that's been done, and anytime I can recognize that and learn from that, I count myself very fortunate.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. Hope you had a great Monday following the long Thanksgiving weekend, and hope you had a great Thanksgiving with your family and friends. And boy, it was a wet one. We'll talk about how much rain we picked up on Thanksgiving coming up in a bit. But here's our shot this afternoon outside our weather window, and it's looking up valley, as you can see, Highway 2 right here. And of course, the Cascades with a few dark clouds around. We do have that slight chance for a rain-snow mix tonight. Very slight here in the lowlands, but a better chance as we get up into the mountains. Cascade passes, could see some light snow developing. That'll be probably tonight and into tomorrow, but I think our better chance will be actually over into eastern Washington, Spokane, and into the Lookout Pass area overnight tonight and into tomorrow. All right, high temperature today, right where we should be at 37 degrees. That's our normal. 70. Do you remember that? That's our record high just 4 years ago, set in 2021. What a nice day. 30 our low this morning, just slightly above where we should be. Our normal low for this time of year is at 27 degrees. There's that 1985. Just won't go away for the low records, and it was set that date at -4 degrees on this date in 1985. All right, there's our rain total. Thanksgiving and into early Friday, almost a half inch of rain, which gets us now to 5.24 inches for the year, which is just over an inch and a quarter below where we should be for this time of year. Sunrise 7:28 and the sunset at that early time of 4:12 this afternoon. All right, getting you into your Tuesday temperatures. Things will warm up just slightly, upper 30s, 39 for Moses Lake and Ephrata, and then a whole swath of 40s from Quincy into Wenatchee all the way up Eniat, Chelan, and Omak. Also upper 30s tomorrow for both Leavenworth and up in Cashmere. So not a bad day, still temperatures above normal. Tonight, cloudy skies. We are seeing the remnants of this large area of low pressure still pulling through Montana, and that'll bring some maybe possible shower activity our way. Most of it will be in the Cascades. For Tuesday, boy, not a bad day at all. Mostly sunny and warmer. High pressure out in the Pacific will regain control of our weather. We'll see high temperatures tomorrow right at that 40-degree mark. For your Wednesday, cloudy skies, just a bit of a trough forming as we get into Wednesday. We'll see a lot lot of clouds from that area of low pressure. It will warm up just a little bit, though, as our flow of air comes from the southwest. Lower 40s for high temperatures on Wednesday. We'll stay mostly cloudy on Thursday, but the significant thing about Thursday, this area of high pressure moves to the south, and that will bring an even stronger southwesterly flow our way Thursday and especially into Friday. It's also going to bring some wet weather our way. Cloudy skies on Friday with at least a 60% chance of early afternoon, mid-afternoon rain showers Friday. But look at those temperatures. Upper 40s for high temperatures Friday. Saturday, mostly cloudy skies, but a bit of a ridge up and over us with some showers, I think, mainly in the Cascades Saturday. A 30% chance that we could see some of that, but still very mild with high temperatures in the upper 40s. We'll stay that way as we end our forecast with a mostly cloudy morning shower possibility on Sunday, mostly cloudy skies in the afternoon on Sunday, and still nice for this time of year with high temperatures in the upper 40s. All right, time for your 7-day forecast now, brought to you by Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee, where comfort, care, and community come together. All right, overnight low tonight for our first day of December, 32 degrees. We'll see 40 and mostly sunny tomorrow, so not a bad Tuesday. Just a lot of clouds for Wednesday and Thursday. It should be dry with low temperatures in the low 40s, but that changes as we get into Friday. Cloudy skies, a 60% chance of rain showers. Warmer with highs around 48 degrees. We'll see 48 as well on Saturday with a less chance for rain. And then by Sunday, morning showers giving way to mostly cloudy skies in the afternoon with a high then of 47 degrees. And that's a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
And a happy Monday to you. The Seahawks earned their 20th shutout in franchise history yesterday, blanking Minnesota 26-0 at Lumen Field. Seattle's defense was smothering, forcing 5 turnovers and sacking rookie quarterback Sam Brosmer 4 times in his first NFL start. The highlight of the win came in the second quarter when linebacker Ernest Jones IV intercepted a pass and returned it 85 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah, I seen DeMarcus holding, getting ready to bring him to the ground. And when you catch these interceptions, everything kind of slows down. So I'm thinking there's no way he's about to throw this. And he let it go. And then I catch it, and then I'm like, there's nobody in front of me. So I immediately started running. I look up at the video board, and I'm like, dang, somebody's catching me. It was Reek. Reek was just trying to beat me to the end zone. But that was my first ever defensive touchdown. It's been a while since I've seen the end zone, so it was great.
The offense struggled for most of the game as the Vikings brought pressure on nearly every down, sacking Sam Darnold 4 times in the first half. Wide receiver Cooper Kupp says, thank God for the defense.
Good. Wins, you're going to take them. They're too hard to get in this league. So we were the benefactors of some very good defense being played on the other side of the ball. Defense just played lights out, put us in some really good positions, and then capitalize on some very bad positions that we put them in. So a lot of stuff offensive that we're going to want to tune up, a lot of stuff that just wasn't up to our standard. But looking forward to looking at that film, and man, we're so close. There's a lot of things just right there. It's just those little details, and looking forward to making those adjustments and moving forward.
The shutout was the first under Coach Mike Macdonald and first for Seattle since 26-0 shutout of Chicago back in 2015. Macdonald said it was another complimentary win.
Great, really team win. Great atmosphere. 12s are rocking. Just really proud of our team. We really were doubling down on our process every week and really trying to just be dedicated to playing our style of ball. And I think that's starting to show up, and which is great. And we talk about all 3 phases complementing one another, stacking plays over the course of a game, which is a point of emphasis over the last probably couple months. And our guys have done that, and the resolve that they've shown when we do hit adversity in games is really incredible. Shoot, I'm the guy that they have to calm down sometimes, which is a great sign. So guys have each other's backs, playing really hard. Even offensively today, we started the game slow, but we stuck to the game plan. We found some more runs in the second half and was able to close the game out there.
Seattle finished with 126 yards rushing and a touchdown to finish the 26-0 win. Hawks will travel to Atlanta this Sunday for a game with the 4 and 8 Falcons. That'll be at 10 a.m. on Fox. Well, Seattle's back in a first-place tie with the Rams atop the NFC West after L.A. stumbled at Carolina 31-28. San Francisco remained hot down in Cleveland 26-8 to improve to 9-4. The Cardinals fell at Tampa Bay 22-17. Well, Washington kept it close with number 6 Oregon Saturday at Husky Stadium, but couldn't get over the top of the Ducks. Malik Benson did most of the work on a 64-yard touchdown pass from Dante Moore with 7:55 to go in regulation to ice Oregon's 11th win of the season. The loss dropped the Huskies to 8-4. Last time Washington State and Oregon State met twice in the same year, back in 1945. On Saturday, the Cougars avenged an earlier 10-7 loss to the Beavers with a resounding 32-8 victory in the Palouse. The win made Jimmy Rogers' team bowl eligible in his inaugural season at Washington State. Well, the Seattle Kraken struggles offensively continued Saturday in a shutout loss to Edmonton. Oilers blanked Seattle 4-0 as the Kraken were 0 for 26 in shots on goal. Seattle has the early part of the week off to get back on track as they'll head to Edmonton Thursday. That's a 6 o'clock game on Prime TV and Kong TV. Well, we haven't seen you since last Wednesday, so we thought we'd back up the truck a little bit and checking in on the Wenatchee Wild. Wenatchee began the holiday weekend with a 5-2 win over Vancouver Wednesday night. Prince George earned a 3-0 shutout Friday as Wenatchee's offense seems to feel the effects of tryptophan. Saturday was a different story as the Wild's offense woke up after giving up an early goal to visiting Regina. Wenatchee will host Swift Current tomorrow night at 6 o'clock at the Town Toyota Center. Austin Drade is scheduled to show up on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley tomorrow morning. Give us a preview of that with Dan Kuntz, so be sure and tune in for that. Well, the Cashmere Bulldogs earned a spot in the WIAA State 1A Championship for the first time since 2008 Saturday. Cashmere dominated Mount Baker in their semifinal matchup in the Apple Bowl. 41-14 the final. Ryland Hatmaker accounted for 4 touchdown passes in the game, 2 of which to trusty wide receiver Logan Spees.
Yeah, I have a lot of chemistry with him for years, since middle school. Me and him just throwing after practice every day. So I just got all the trust in the world for him.
He looks like he's going to go for it. In motion, Tate looking to the right, now to the left, throws it deep, looking for his man. He has Spees, caught! Touchdown, Cashmere!
This kid is unbelievable, Avery.
36 yards, 26-7, Cashmere! Haven't said their names a lot tonight. Fake the handoff, Tate. Screen pass, Spees, caught at the 20. He breaks it up to the nearest far side, 10 to the 5 to the corner. Touchdown, Bulldogs.
The first point of the game came on an interception return touchdown by a guy Coach Brian Bremer said didn't even think it was going to play.
Well, what's crazy is Jack Binger, the guy who has the pick 6, all week he's got a bad back. In a chiropractor, in a massages, barely practiced on Wednesday and Thursday, did some stuff on Friday, and then all of a sudden, Dr. Game shows up and, back gets warmed up, feels all right, and he's in the right spot at the right time and goes and it's crazy. Like a guy that you're maybe not counting on to be available becomes available because of his diligent work of how to get back and makes a great play to set the tone for us.
Cashmere will get a rematch with Royal for the state championship Friday at 3 o'clock at Husky Stadium. The Knights were able to advance with a big win over Linden Christian on Saturday in the semifinals, downing the Lynx 61-35. Okanagan season ended in a 24-8 loss to Toledo. East Valley was shut out by Tumwater 42-0. DeSales ended down Myra Cooley Heartline season 42-22. Well, NCWLIFE channel will begin our winter sports broadcast season coming up on Friday. That's when we'll bring you non-conference basketball between Eastmont and visiting Kamiakin. Girls will start at 5:30 with Grant Olson on the play-by-play. That's on the stream on our Facebook page and YouTube page. Boys game tips at 7. That'll be streamed as well as on TV. That's a look at sports news over at Grandstrom. Have a happy Monday.
And that will do it for this Monday edition of the NCWLIFE Evening News. Remember, if you see news happening, let us know. Email your news tips to news@ncwlife.com or just give us a call at 888-6295. Our channel is also available on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks so much for being with us, and have a great night.